Theories of Creation, Talk 8. This talk is about the advantages and disadvantages of scientific creationism and the young Earth view. First, the advantages. The creation account in Genesis need not be reinterpreted to fit current scientific theories regarding the origins and the age of the Earth. And secondly, as with progressive creationism, this theory provides answers for many questions scientists still have. For example, the origin of life, the origin of sexual reproduction, the origin of language, the origin of moral and religious values, and so on. And thirdly, the problem of interpreting the meaning of human-like fossil bones is done away with. Such bones are considered to be either fully animal, i.e. type of ape, or fully human. In this scenario, there would be no problem with Adam and Eve meeting Neanderthal man, as he did not exist. Both the dating and the interpretation of such bones are rejected. But what are the disadvantages of holding this view of scientific creationism and the young Earth view? Well, firstly, the interpretation of the appearance of light on day one is hard to accept. Although it may be true that, as we believe God is able to do any miracle he wishes, he could theoretically produce light waves without also producing their sources, the real question is not could he do this, but did he do this? If the answer to this is no, then a different interpretation of Genesis 1 verses 3 to 5 must be looked for. And coupled with the first one above is the problem of understanding how it could be that the sun, moon and stars were created 3 days after light was created. Even the original readers of these early chapters of Genesis must have understood that light has a source. And thirdly, a further problem associated with light is that scientists have discovered galaxies which are billions of light years away. As a light year is the distance that light travels in 1 year, then the logical conclusion is that such galaxies are billions of years old. One way to avoid this problem is to use the argument of the appearance of age, which has already been described. And in this case, it would be argued that although the galaxies look as if they're very old, in fact, they are not. God created the light beams instantaneously intact, all the way from their sources to the Earth, or to be more precise, he created them 3 days before their sources were created. Alternatively, a more scientific sounding argument has been suggested, whereby it's believed that the speed of light has not always remained the same. Two scientific creationists, Trevor Norman and Barry Setterfield, published their views in 1987 in The Atomic Constants, Light and Time, and they say their results show the speed of light has apparently decreased so rapidly that experimental error cannot explain it. As a result, it's possible to speculate that when God first created, the speed of light was almost infinite, so that it reached its destination almost instantaneously, and that since then there has been an exponential decrease in its speed until it's reached its present-day speed. There's many technical arguments for and against this theory, but it appears that to date it's only scientific creationists who accept the possibility of its validity. However, even with this more scientific sounding explanation, there still remains the problem of explaining the source of light on days 1, 2 and 3, as Genesis 1 verses 14 to 16 clearly states that the sun, moon and stars were not created until the 4th day. And then fourthly, there is an inherent problem with the acceptance of this theory of the appearance of age. And on this, Hugh Ross in Creation and Time, and Hugh Ross believes in the day-age theory, he said in his book Creation and Time, taken to its logical conclusion, the appearance of age hypothesis would imply that we cannot establish the actuality of our own or others' past existence. We could have been created just a few hours ago, with the Creator implanting scars and memory, progeny, photographs, material possessions, liver spots, hardening of the arteries to make it appear, and us to appear and to feel older than we really are. Also, if God built into the universe natural testimony of events which never took place, how can we claim that the Bible is free of written testimony of events which never took place? And then fifthly, there's many proofs of a young earth given by creation scientists which sound very plausible, but equally there's many proofs for an old earth given by all other scientists, including Christians who hold alternative interpretations of Genesis, which sound equally plausible. For an ordinary non-scientific layperson to decide which of these experts are correct is difficult, if not an impossible task. And sixthly, the accuracy and reliability of all current scientific dating methods have to be rejected, as they all point to ages of millions or billions of years old rather than just thousands. And again, a layperson is in the difficult position of having to decide which experts he wants to rely on, the scientific establishment at large or creation scientists who completely reject all of their dating methods. As it's believed everything was created between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago, an alternative explanation for the geological rock strata and fossils in them has to be accepted. This means that the theory of flood geology has to be accepted rather than just considered as a possible alternative to standard geology. To use the assertion that death of any sort was not possible before Adam sinned as an argument that the fossils could not have been in the rocks before Adam sinned is questionable. Romans 5 verse 12 makes it clear that death came to all men because all sinned. Only humans have ever been described as sinners, and so only humans can experience death through sin. Plants and animals do not die because they sin, and therefore finding fossils in the rocks is not a problem from a theological point of view. In the next talk, we're going to look at the gap theory of creation.